All right, guys, Wayne Fillmore here. It's been a while since I did a video, and as you can see from the title, I'm going to be giving a presentation of my evolutionary creation model. So, some of you who have been following my channel for quite some time may already be familiar with the model, and some of you guys may not. I'm actually not going to have enough time to get into the full model I actually have, the concordance approach. My friend General and I both have come up with, but I'm going to give you a quick overview with some new evidences that confirm our model, and I'll take it from there. Atheists, you can feel free to critique this model or give some criticism, or there's actually one atheist I actually have given a permission to do a response video to this video. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen and we are going to look through my model and then we'll go from there. So there we go. So now we are about to begin the presentation of my evolutionary creation model, God of Evolution. I do have a Facebook page you guys can follow. You can go to www.facebook.com/religion of reason. And as you can see right there from the title, you guys can go there and my page will come up. We have a lot of good content. And yeah, there we go. So what is a creation model? Let me just explain what a model is. In science, the term model refers to the schematic description of a system or set of phenomena that accounts for its observed and inferred features as well as its origin and complete history. A model is much more than a mere idea, inference, method, hypothesis, or rudimentary theory. It's a scenario that offers reasonable explanations for the entire scope or history, origin, and ending of a particular system in nature, as well as for its relationship to other phenomena. This comes from What is a Scientific Model from Reasons to Believe's website. You guys can go there by going to www.reasons.org. It's run by astrophysicist and pastor Hugh Ross, very good friends with him, and his staff biochemist, Dr. Fazal Rana. So before we actually get into our model, let's talk about the nature of evidences as I give my evidences for my model. So extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. We hear this claim a lot by people, but no, they don't though. The standard of evidence is beyond a reasonable doubt. The objective of evidence isn't to prove a point beyond all other possibilities. We will not know anything beyond all other possibilities. But what we will know is beyond a reasonable doubt, this is what most likely, or beyond all the possibilities we know of, or all the explanations we have at the moment, this explanation best fits. The objective of evidence is to rule out the least likely explanations, like I said, and narrow down to the most likely explanation available. A model that best fits the evidence, aside from all current explanations, is the most reasonable conclusion. And that's all a model needs. A model does not need to be perfect. In all of our models or explanatory methods, etc., there's going to be gaps in our model. They're not going to be able to account for every single thing on the face of the earth. But what they will do is they will explain the evidence best out of all other models. For example, evolution by natural selection is not the only model to explain the diversity of life, but it's the only model that explains the evidence the best compared to all other models so far. So, what is my theological position? I accept the Big Bang theory, accept Big Bang cosmology. So, we at Religion of Reason over on my Facebook ministry page, we accept evolution. We accept, of course, the evolution of the universe. Order, the universe is 13.8 billion years, Earth being 4.6, old human race being 200,000 years old. Adam and Eve were real historical figures, but they were not the first people. And we believe that evolution is a guided and fixed process that God holds together, being a mechanism he uses to diversify living organisms and redeem creation. Well, won't really get into the redeeming creation part, at least not yet. That's more of a theological side than the scientific position that we necessarily are going to talk about today, but we'll get into that as well sometime in the future. So I'm a theistic naturalist. We at Religion and Reason, we don't believe that miracles break natural law. We don't believe that miracles break the laws of physics. We believe that miracles are hypernatural, meaning that God uses some sort of hidden laws within the laws of physics, and that's how miracles are done. It's not that God's adding some new laws into the laws of nature, but it's just that he's using hidden laws that we just don't know about yet. The supernatural does not exist in the sense that the laws of physics can ever be suspended or added to. Us humans never discover new laws of physics, but we discover laws that already existed but were hidden from our understanding at a point in time. So now we're finally into the model and a little bit of what we're going to talk about. And so biologist Stephen Jay Gould, the late Stephen Jay Gould at that, he actually says this about evolution. He says evolution is fundamentally unpredictable. If the tape of life were replayed from some point in the distant past, the outcome would be far different than the one we see today. Now, weird. Oh, man. Okay. I put this on the wrong page. So, Simon Conway Morris, he actually said repeated evolutionary outcomes for species in different habitats and survival stresses occur hundreds of times. Hidden natural laws explain repetition. And so Stephen Jay Gould, he said that if you replay the tape of life, biological life, life will look completely different because, evolution is random. Well, Simon Conway Morris said, no. There's some type of hidden law to actually explain all of this. And they actually were having a back and forth with this for the last 20 years. And so before we get into that, let's get into evolutionary creation. So what actually is evolutionary creation? Unlike theistic evolutionists who some are deists, unlike theistic evolutionists who some are deists, who say that God set up the world and let it create itself on its own, so we don't have that deistic position. Evolutionary creationists would say that God is intimately involved in creation. God doesn't fight against creation like a deistic God, countering the natural world with supernatural laws, but God works with creation, allowing the universe to be a part of the creation process. The best example of this would be God providentially guiding even the tiniest raindrop to a blade of grass. We would say evolution is a guided and directed process. So that is what we are demonstrating here in our model based off of the new scientific evidence. And so that is what I'm planning on showing right now. So guided evolution, how can we demonstrate this? Well, scientists in 2015 of January 26, scientists sequenced the genomes of walruses, manatees, and 2 whales, killer whales, and bottlenose dolphins. The comparisons show that many genes change independently in each lineage, suggesting that randomness did indeed play an important role in evolution. So there is a randomness that does happen in evolution. It's not a bad thing. That randomness actually accounts for why we have different species and etc. Today, we actually need some of that randomness, so we can even have stuff like different races and mutations today. But for 15 genes, natural selection led to exactly the same genetic changes occurring in all 3 lineages. This suggests that for some of the challenges of life in the sea, evolution repeatedly arrived at the same solution. That is, replaying the tape does indeed give much the same result again and again. And this comes from a paper written from New Scientist called Tape of Life May Not Always Be Random. And so I will argue that this actually demonstrates a claim from the Bible, Jeremiah 33, written about 3,400 years ago. Thus says the Lord, and this is God speaking, if my covenant with day and night does not stand, and if I have not established the fixed patterns of heaven and earth, or the whole order of nature, then I will also reject the descendants of Jacob and David. And so in this passage, God is making a promise to his people that just like I don't change, the laws of nature will never change. I uphold the laws of physics. And like I said, we believe that God upholds these laws. They're unchanging, they're fixed. And we think that there is some hidden natural law behind these evolutionary processes. And in this argument, I guess we could say that the reason why evolution is so orderly is because it's God upholding those natural laws, just like we've been saying. And so it's not some teleological phenomena in nature where it's completely random, happening for no meaning, no purpose, but there is a purpose for it. And we're going to get into that. So evolution can think, learning theory. So this quote says, evolution may be more intelligent than we thought, according to a University Southampton professor. Professor Richard Watson says new research shows that evolution is able to learn from previous experience, which could provide a better explanation of how evolution by natural selection produces such apparently intelligent designs. For example, a key feature of intelligence is an ability to anticipate behaviors that will lead to future benefits. Conventionally, evolution, being dependent on random variation, has been considered blind, or at least unable to exhibit such anticipation. But showing that that evolving systems can learn from past experience means that evolution has the potential to anticipate what is needed to adapt to future environments in the same way that learning systems do. This comes from is evolution more intelligent than we thought? University of Southampton. And so, religion or reason, we would actually, in some sense, agree with Professor Richard Watson. And we would say evolution is a rather intelligent design. We would say that evolution is reflective of a mind. He is 100% correct. Evolution is an extremely complex biological system that resembles a mind because that mind is the mind of God. We would say it seems from modern research, natural laws are responsible for repeated evolutionary outcomes and confirms Jeremiah 33. The laws of physics don't change, they're not random. And it's Yahweh who holds these laws in place. And evolution it seems to be self-correcting or goal-oriented. And this would prove teleology in evolution. So it could be argued that evolution had us humans in mind, and it was inevitable for us humans to come onto the scene, showing meaning and purpose. So in about 4 years research, we predict that more research should come out explaining these natural laws, but about evolution that showcase or explain these evolutionary repeats that should show more complexity and showing the predictability of evolution. Within the next 4 years, we predict this. And so that's a short synopsis of my model so far. Feel free to critique it. Feel free to, you know, give your reviews. And I guess that's pretty much it.